So the G20 summit was held this week in Tokyo, and it seems that Donald Trump may have done a bit of a U-turn regarding Huawei. Now this is just a short video to give you guys an update about Huawei. Donald Trump met with President Xi from China to discuss trade between the two nations. Now, President Xi refused to discuss trade unless there was a relief on Huawei sanctions, specifically taking them off the blacklist. Now, we don't know many things, but what we do know are two things. One, Huawei was at the forefront of all negotiations. That was made clear by President Xi. And two is that both countries agreed to stop raising tariffs for the other nation. So after the G20 summit, a press conference was held where Donald Trump was asked questions by the members of the press. And one of the questions they asked was regarding the trade between China and the US and Huawei, how Huawei fits into this. Now, Donald Trump said, and this is a direct quote from what he said, one of the things I will allow, however, is a lot of people are surprised we send and will sell to Huawei a tremendous amount of product that goes into the various things that they make. And I said that that's okay, that we will keep selling that product. These are American companies that make product, and that's very complex, by the way, highly scientific, and in some cases we're the ones that do it, we're the only ones that do it, we're the only ones with that technology. What we've done in Silicon Valley is incredible actually, and nobody has been able to compete with it, and I've agreed, and pretty easily, I've agreed to allow them to continue to sell that product. So American companies will continue, and they were having a problem. The companies were not exactly happy that they couldn't sell because they had nothing to do with whatever it was that was potentially happening with respect to Huawei, so I did that. Now, this wasn't entirely clear what he meant by that, and I'm not just the only one who was confused. Members of the press were confused as well, so they asked for clarification on this. And to that he said, US companies can sell their equipment to Huawei. I'm talking about equipment where there's no great national emergency problem with it, but the US companies can sell their equipment. So we have a lot of the great companies in Silicon Valley and based in different parts of the country that make extremely complex equipment. We're letting them sell to Huawei. So regarding the trade deal, there's no specifics out yet, but we do know that Huawei is going to be a major part of that, and for that we can thank President Xi. Now, Huawei as it stands right now is still on the entity list, they're still on the blacklist for America, but that could be removed soon depending on how the trade agreements go. Now with the quote from Donald Trump, that just means that Huawei can do business with US companies, but that still leaves a congressional law that bans Huawei from national security products. Now that means that Huawei equipment and services still can't be used in certain scenarios. That includes the US government and security services that may be deemed as a security threat from Huawei. But the good news here is that Huawei can now resume doing business with many companies that it did in the past, including Google, Intel, Qualcomm and many others. Now that could mean that moving forward they continue to use their own operating system or they rely on Android again, but that all depends on the trade arrangements that are made between Donald Trump and President Xi and how Huawei responds to that. So thank you guys for watching. I hope this gave you a bit more of an update with the Huawei situation. Now if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content, subscribe for more. And yeah, ciao.